Hello, and welcome to episode 5 of. I think it said Hawkwind. I think it said Hawkwind. What did they do? Ride Like the Wind, cover of an old Christopher Cross song.
They did lots of things given they were like a, was it 70s hippie
Yeah.
guitar rock band.
What would I know from Ride Like the Wind? That's it. I think I know them because other people liked them. I don't think I know them.
I think I actually only mostly know them because of their association with things like Elric.
Who's he?
He's a character from a book.
Anyway, we're not actually here to talk about Hawkwind. We're here to talk about Hawkeye. Episode 5, Ronin. And there will be spoilers. And we're 2 days late because we saw Spider-Man instead on Wednesday. And if you haven't seen Spider-Man, you might want to come back when you have, because I think there's going to be things I'm going to talk about.
You think?
Yeah, I think there are. I know there are. There definitely will be.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah. So yes. Well. Interesting start, I think, to this with the whole showing. As you mentioned when we were watching it, you kind of touched on it with Monica Rambeau, but I thought there was kind of a bit more.
Was it Monica or Maria?
Maria. Bugger. No, Monica's the daughter, isn't it? No, wait.
I think it might be. I genuinely, because I know from the comics, Monica Rambeau is the original Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
But I'm also pretty sure that was the name given to Carol Danvers' best mate from the movie. So I think it is Maria. Matt, Paul, let us
Somebody,
know.
yeah. We obviously can't remember. Well, WandaVision's what, 6 months ago? June? Before that even?
Actually, yeah.
It wasn't Loki June time.
Something like that.
Anyway.
Well, Wanda was first, anyway.
Yeah.
And then we've had bloody Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then Loki.
Yeah.
And now Hawkeye. So yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I want to say that WandaVision might even have been back sort of like February, March time. Don't know. Anyway. Not actually what we're talking about. It's not Hawkeye. It's 10 to 10 on a Friday night, and I've had a really shitty day. But lovely dinner when I got in.
I wasn't the dinner, in case that was unclear. I made the dinner.
Yeah, glad you clarified that. And completely put me off everything I was saying. So, blip. Personal.
He does it to me all the fucking time. This is payback.
I don't know who I'm looking at. There's nobody off camera. Christmas tree?
Well, I think Shads is under the table.
Oh,
yes.
There you go, our cat. One of the 3 cats. Yeah, so I just thought it was really... The way they did the whole... How the blip was from a person's point of view.
Yes.
I thought it was slightly more in depth than we saw it in WandaVision.
Yes.
Because it was kind of more... Was she blipped or was her mother blipped?
She was blipped because she missed her mother, because her mother died during the blip from cancer.
Right, yeah, okay. Clearly I remember that detail well. But yeah, the whole...
I remember that, because you were going to visit this for some, we actually saw the blip, and I'm just like, no, we... But I think as well, I think this was a more personal one, because again, it was quite a calm scene compared to Monica Maria.
Just call her Rambo.
Yes.
Sylvester Stallone.
Because I think obviously she was in a hospital, so of course when she comes back, it's just, bedlam.
Yeah.
Everyone's coming back, whereas... I mean, obviously, again, it was also quite nice to...
And watching the room, change around her and stuff.
Yeah, and it was also quite nice to see to find out that Yelena had been blipped. Which was, something we didn't know about the character.
Yeah. So nice start to the touch. It's gonna be one of them videos. Nice touch to the start of the episode, I thought. And also gave you a little bit more context as to where she's been, why she's been, which obviously was relevant more in the episode later on.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about Guardians of the Galaxy now.
Why?
Yeah, because that's the whole thing with Drax. When they first meet, there's a who and then it's like, why is I think Gamora or something like that?
Right. Okay.
Because it's Drax, again being Drax.
Yeah. Okay. I don't remember that. And yeah, so I thought this was a nice episode. Obviously, this episode.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, it's unusual. Yeah. It obviously has a job to do because it's got to basically get all of the last little bits kind of to come together, so you get nice finale. Which I thought actually this kind of bucked the trend slightly, as much as yes, it did do a bit of that in the whole mother's associate / fiance / whatever, Echo and Ronin sort of, and that kind of being resolved in and of itself, but then him setting a potential on another path. I thought it didn't do it did it, but not in the normal traditional way you'd expect.
As what, the big cliffhanger?
Yeah, as in the whole la 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 la. Oh my god, this has got to come to a head. Like, Echo's gonna go nuts. That didn't happen. People probably don't know this video at all that we keep referencing.
But you have made it your mission to get as many people to Sorority High School Girls from Hell?
I think so.
Yeah. So,
nice Bond film. So.
Sorority High School Girls from Hell. Look it up.
Yeah. It's funny. And do you want to say anything about this episode?
Yeah, I liked it. I've said plenty about this episode. I pointed out the whole things with Yelena. Again, yes, anyway, you're the one that went on the bloody Sorority High School Girl from Hell side to it, so don't blame me for that. But yeah, no, it's again, it's not. I don't think this is particularly like groundbreaking. Like
No.
Was.
Love Florence Pugh again. Always love Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh is a joy. And again, it's very nice seeing the dynamic because she is very different to her sister.
Yeah.
Which again is a nice touch because we were, I think was it just after we had a conversation about it or just before we started watching about how with Contessa.
I think it was yeah.
I can't remember her full title to be honest. But obviously setting up, which again is in the comics, like
an alternate Avengers.
Yeah, like the Dark Avengers or whatever they
were. We can't remember what they're called, but anyway.
So obviously, you've got sort of is it John Walker that was US agent?
Yeah.
As obviously, Captain America, Dark. Yelena was very clearly at the end of Black Widow, kind of being set up to be their widow version of Black Widow. And again, kind of having those differences in the character. This, again, John Walker is very different to Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers,
yeah.
I don't know why I suddenly went blank on the name. Then I thought that doesn't sound right. But I was thinking Mr. Egg the horse, and I'm thinking that's something else. But again,
well, yes, Mr. Ed.
Yes, but yes, Yelena again is a very different character to sort of Natasha, and again, it's something you got to see in Black Widow. So it's nice they've kind of carried that on. Which I'd expect nothing less from sort of new Marvel TV products because they are that much more entwined with the sort of the MCU film side of things. But yes, the dun 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 at the end, which we kind of knew was coming.
Yeah,
again, I
exactly.
think if you're a comic person, you kind of know.
But the thing is, it's not even the satisfaction of bringing Kingpin. It's the satisfaction of which Kingpin it is, which it comes into the Spider-Man reference and the moment in the cinema where someone down the front properly started cheering on his own. Love him. A few people clapped, but he was full on yelling. I wonder if it was the guy dressed as Spider-Man.
No, because he wasn't any further up.
I don't know, maybe
because he came down the stairs.
Oh right, okay, yeah, it was someone further down. Full on like clapped and cheered when Matt Murdock didn't even sat down. He tapped his cane before you even saw his face. He was proper like clapping and cheering. So it is the whole they are bringing in the Netflix characters, whether they're accepting those episodes and stories as canon, don't know.
don't know if they do or not, because we've got multiverse.
Yeah, very clearly from Spider-Man, and we have multiverse. So I'm really intrigued to see if they bring in more of those now that they have revealed Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, Matt Murdock
As Daredevil.
as Matt Murdock, so presumably Daredevil because he did the catch thing. So yeah, will we see Jessica Jones? Will we see Luke Cage? Will they recast Iron Fist correctly? Nothing against the guy who played him. I'm sure he's lovely. In fact, I hear he is a very, very lovely person, but it was a bit of a misstep. But again, it wasn't direct Marvel control. We're about to have a scrap between cats at our feet, by the way. So yeah, it's more of that brilliant world building. I was thinking about this watching it, and also very nice from Eleanor Bishop to name drop the name of our channel. Thanks, Elle. I mean, obviously she doesn't know she's done that. The cuckoo clock's off again. But yay! This has been a really fun run, a really good series. But you've got to, what do you call it now? Because it's not the Marvel Television Universe, which sounds like Sesame Street. It's not the Marvel Cinematic Universe because there's so much of it now that's not cinema.
I think they haven't. I don't think they've actually coined a term for it.
No, I mean it's still called the MCU. You know,
yeah.
But that's...
I mean, technically, I suppose it would be the Marvel Media Universe, so the MMU, because it is on the different media channels. But yeah, that just like new.
Or could it be the Marvel Filmed Universe?
I mean, I think cinematic works because of the production values.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what it will remain. And that's fine.
I think it's. I think MCU probably works now to include the TV product just because it's kind of moving away from the, it's not the Marvel cinema movie. It's basically it's cinematic in terms of like I said, production qualities, framing, all of that kind of stuff. I think now, as Scarlett Johansson painfully found out. Which I gather has now been settled, and she's coming back to work as a producer on some unnamed project. But I think it's less about the channel that the product is delivered almost.
Yeah.
So you are getting as well. Again, it will be based on your opinion of the MCU of the Marvel product, but certainly for me, you are getting as good a quality product as engrossing, as gripping, as clutch your pearls moments, as cheery moments from the TV shows as you would get from going to see the actual movies in the cinema. And I think that's brilliant. I think this is essentially what a lot of products back in the day tried to do. The Matrix kind of tried to do it where it was like multi-channel. You had the films, you had
the Animatrix,
you had the computer games, you had all kinds of web stuff going on.
A bit ahead of its time, but also largely a bit shit. But
I think the MCU is probably in a very solid position to kind of, and again, it's backed by Disney now. These. Possibly the single biggest media.
They have Disney money now.
Yeah, they do have Disney money now. So I think it will be interesting to see where this goes from here.
Another thought. Eleanor mentioned go and see the refit Statue of Liberty. Is that a Spider-Man reference to the Shield?
I'm wondering. I would assume so.
I thought about it during the episode, but it's only just come back to me.
The moment they said that, I thought, is that the...
Yeah. So are we in the same way as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. used to reference with a line whatever the Marvel movie that came out the same week as the episode aired? I wonder if they were doing some of that business. So obviously we know how that turns out. Sorry, that was half belch, half hiccup. And yeah. So we'll see next week how it all ends. Are they going to kill off Clint Barton?
That's my prediction.
I would have said yes. Was it not going out at Christmas? I think they've made such a big deal about his family at Christmas.
Yeah.
I can see him not getting home Christmas Eve night, which I think was kind of what they were setting up with him staying on the guy's couch. But I can see him getting there just in time for the children to open their presents and possibly even coming down the chimney.
But no, I absolutely...
And by that I do mean crawling, not ejaculating.
I mean, I actually don't think they'll kill Clint off just because they killed Natasha off.
Yeah.
And I think that, and that's, again, to me, that's the whole point of Endgame. Is that, Natasha sacrificed herself. And obviously, it's causing grief for Clint in terms of how people like Yelena are dealing with it, but obviously, clearly, Yelena's being manipulated as well. But the whole point was, she sacrificed herself because, and it's funny, I saw, just reminded me actually, I saw a meme about this where it's just the whole, when Natasha's going about, Clint has a family and she doesn't. And then we have the Black Widow movie where she very clearly has a family, but it's found family. And I just had this, and the meme is basically, effectively, was it Red Guardian? I forget David Harbour's character's name.
Yeah.
And obviously Rachel Weisz, who I don't actually think hadn't like a character name as such because she was just a Black Widow scientist person, and obviously Yelena. I just had this image of them just like watching some media of Natasha saying that and just going, oh yeah, thanks a lot, sis.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think based on that, I think Clint gets a for him happy ending.
Yeah.
Because I think weirdly, not necessarily because his character deserves it as such, but I think his character does. But just because it would actually diminish what Natasha did. And as we know, there's already been enough crap that Marvel have had over up until now, how they've handled female characters in general and Black Widow especially up until this point. So yeah, that's my prediction. I'm quite happy if I'm proved wrong next week. I will sit here and go, well, I guess I didn't get that one right then, but that's what I think.
Well, we don't even have to wait a week because we're obviously 2 days late. So come back on Wednesday.